the first thing that comes to mind is there's very few clips of you playing drums on YouTube without a Corona in your hand, and I want to work on an endorsement deal for you after the show wraps.
I really need an endorsement.
I think Corona. There's a list of people I could suggest, but I think Corona's who we need to go to first, being that you're endorsing them already to millions of fans. We just need to just need to monetize that. But there's a classic interview online with you and the band Type O, where you're talking about the delays in getting a record out, and at one point you just say, "Hey, look, we hit a lot of hang-ups. We're working day and night on getting something the fans would respect together," and then Peter, may he rest in peace, says, "Well, the hang-ups were I was in Rikers Island and I was in psychiatric ward," and he goes down this litany of like basically very painful places to be, and you kind of take it. You don't even crack a smile. You just look at the camera and say, "Well, I think that covers most of our hang-ups." It was hilarious.
But it was true, It really oddly enough, Kenny and I was on the phone with Kenny a little while ago, and we were just talking about that, about Peter, and how Peter was always very open about anything. A subject would come up, and he would automatically relate it to some kind of personal experience. And then he would sit there and he would tell these people all these things, and a lot of it, I always saw it as a lot of it was details that really fans really aren't interested in hearing,
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then whatever the camera would turn off, and I'm like Pete, you really don't have to go into that kind of detail about this stuff. You could just give him a quick answer and just say, yeah, well, And but yeah, once the gates would open, he would just he'd be very frank and very to the point, and however he was feeling at that moment,
mm-hmm.
that's what was going to come out. There wasn't any
filter
reservations or anything, which was really part of his charm too.
No, I agree with that. I mean, this is a guy that was known for doing his shoveling the snow off his walkway in his Russian, military infantry uniform or something, just to get the neighbors to talk. But the reality is, what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's what he got up on. That's what he was into.
But you know what though? Personally, being in this business on the other side, where some of the politics are concerned, to see people take an interview like that and say, "Look, we're just like the guy on the street battling a down economy, only we're in a band." That's so admirable to hear someone say it instead of trying to put himself on some plateau, that you can't help but love to hear that kind of stuff. And when the four of you were together in that particular piece, I mean, you have one artist that seldom talked to the press, but I guess the three that did the talking for the most part for the band is concerned, it was so genuine that you couldn't help but say, man, however you feel about the music, and I personally loved it, you would certainly want to party with those guys at the corner bar.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said before, really, we're a product of our environment, and we all grew up within walking distance of each other. We were all just a few blocks away, in I guess maybe less than a mile radius, and those are the people. That's the way the people were where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I consider us very fortunate as to, to experience the things that we did, get to, travel, and we got to see a lot of different things. We got out of the neighborhood, and I was always grateful for that.
Right.
And, we were able to see some things. And even, in the beginning, when we first, I'm thinking, a little bit more on a sentimental level, I'm going to Europe again. Right, with Seven Void and stuff like that, and it's very exciting and stuff. And I was just taking a step back, thinking, it's great that I'm getting the opportunity to do it again, because after everything that's happened and stuff everything that's happened this past year, you never really know what's up next for you.
Right.
And so, to be able to get that opportunity again, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, to think about, some of my friends, that I've grown up with and stuff like that, they never really went anywhere. And it's not something I'm not, putting myself above them. They just didn't, their lives just didn't take that road where they get the opportunity to do these things and stuff. And it's the one, silver lining in it is that, I've been able to get, a lot of really good experiences.
Mm-hmm.
stuff that I can look back on fondly and say, you know what, that was pretty cool. And you know what, I didn't get a college education, and I don't have a steady job, and I don't have a pension and stuff like that. But at least I have a couple of cool stories to tell.
Right.
They were known as Lucifer and the Men with Painted Faces when they burned New Orleans to the ground. And when they sacked Panama, I knew that my road to redemption would be paved with tombstones. And by the time they brought the apocalypse to West Africa and the Indian Ocean, I would come to know two words with biblical significance. No quarter. No quarter. Kill All Masters. Rated R. Coming soon. Available on all platforms. Visit noquarterkillallmasters.com.